Like to welcome you to my little corner of the Commonwealth. We are currently located just outside the Slog, which is the settlement that I would like to take you on a tour of today. As you can see, I've made a little bit of a change to the building, but I think that you'll all approve. Let's take a look around and see what we've got. As you approach the building, most traffic comes up this road. It actually draws a lot of fire from the forged raiders there. But you'll come up, you enter through our main gate. Our main gate handily protects the area where Lucas and Doc Weathers like to set up their little camp when they come to trade. And of course we have guard stations in position to protect this approach. There's another guard station down that end. Instead of having a gate on that, because there's almost zero chance of an attack from that direction, the wall is simply open between the guard station and the other part of the wall there. As you can see, Brahmin are given a nice place to feed from right here, so they don't have to wander around the rest of the Slog. Here we have a structure that was put in place for the guards and the provisioners to bed down in. It's using a floor plan that was basically given to me the idea by Sardeliak and the Insane Shekeldor, where you start off with basically a Tetris piece, in this case a T-shaped floor, and you build onto that. In this case I have a rough wall here, one of the bumped out balcony walls here and here. We just come across here to another bumped out balcony wall. There's plenty of room for the guards and the provisioners to bunk down for the night. They have a little place to grab a snack, but nothing too special in here. Their real purpose of being here is really just for a place for them to sleep, because nobody really hangs out in a homey space like we would with a living room in the modern world. It's the post-apocalypse. As we move over to here, we're going to take a trip around the back of the pool. As you know, most people are very familiar with the idea of putting our water purifier in the pool with the tarberries. Can't have enough water here. It's definitely worth setting up. As you can see, there's that guard station right there. And then across the back here on this rock line, we put a series of turrets facing out. There are some insects that respawn constantly down along the river, and of course there's the super mutants just up the way.
Listen, darling, we're ghouls.
Plenty of room for farming, and they do quite a bit of it here. When I first started setting up here, all I needed was a little bit of water, so I set up the water pumps here, but eventually the settlement outgrew that. As you can see, there's also a guard station looking out this direction. What I've discovered is sometimes the Slog gets attacked by feral ghouls, and in the event that it is feral ghouls that are attacking, their spawn point appears to be in this area. I mean, literally right in, like, the dry end of the swimming pool. So I wanted to make sure that there was ample protection for this area, because obviously anything that pops up here as a spawn point it needs to be cut down quick. There's a lot of things that can get damaged. So as we approach the building, you'll note that I haven't done anything with new lighting on the outside. These are the original lights. I did rearrange some furnishings in here. I moved chairs about and gave a few tables to sit at after work. As we walk over here, you'll see that what used to be the showers and what they used as bedrooms has been returned to being restrooms. In this case, we've got, a couple of stalls and a couple of showers. We have the same situation across the way, but we've walled off this side. Because when you come over here, you reach our clinic. Here in the clinic, we can both create and sell chems. We have our doctor ready to patch you up if something happens. Maybe we get attacked and you're hurt in a firefight. The showers are still installed here, but obviously not in use. And plenty of bed space for injured individuals, because this is a very dangerous spot, so the clinic needs to be prepared for more than one casualty at a time.
Let's get a look at you.
You see the stairs are centrally located. Then we move over here. There's another guard post out here. And then we come over to where our bartender is set up. He's a pretty busy man. As we come into here, well, what should have been somebody working hard at the general store here, selling a little bit of everything, turns out he just wants to stare at the wall today. Okay. But to each his own, I guess. He does sell a little bit of everything in here. And of course, this bathroom, just like the other one, couple of stalls and a couple of showers. Now, one of the things that I went through with the building here, the walls in this place don't appear to exist as far as the build menu is concerned. I was not able to stack these concrete walls on the second floor on top of the other walls. I actually had to put flooring down and mount the concrete walls to that flooring in order to get it to work out. Not that I mind. I was able to lay out an excellent upstairs. This is one of the bedrooms for the settlers here. They have plenty of light. I wanted to keep the feel of a public space, so in that vein we put up a skylight style roof over the center of the facility. Lets all the natural light into the center of the building, makes it very light and airy, and allows these bedrooms off the main balcony to be at night just barely lit by the lighting fixtures that I chose. And you'll notice that there are sleeping bags under some of the bunks. Those are, of course, for the purpose of making sure there are enough beds on the site for anybody who may be assigned here. But as we all know, guards and provisioners don't actually sleep in the bunks that they're assigned to, so we really only need enough bed space for each of the people who's working and enjoying life here. The bartenders, the clinic staff, the farmers. We don't need a bed for the people
Think
who
they've run off?
will never uh,
You or
be
me?
sleeping. So as you can see, there's people moving about. It's a very active location. And what you might have noticed from outside when I was down near the road, we have turrets on the corners of the roof. And of course a pair of turrets down here. And then again in the back, the balcony has the turrets overlooking the courtyard, but also has roof turrets. And it makes a very good overlapping field of fire. There's always 2 or 3 turrets minimum that can fire at any one location. Very secure location. One interesting thing I discovered while building here, the roof, the glass roof specifically, will not snap to the other roof types. It snaps to itself just fine, and it will snap to the top of walls. Specifically to the top of the greenhouse walls. But as far as snapping to the regular roof, the type of roof that goes with the concrete walls, or even the solid and flat wall roof pieces from the warehouse, it would not snap to them. So this roof was originally, it's hard to tell, but there is a height difference, and it's on this spot you can see it's actually floating slightly. This roof, this metal bottomed concrete roof, ran straight across the entire thing, and then the glass roof was placed on top of it over the area that I wanted to have as a skylight. Then I could come inside and remove the roof pieces from underneath, giving me the glass overhead that I wanted. I really do like the open, almost pre-war feel of the place. I feel like it's something that someone familiar with the area prior to the war might have come up with. And it's very unique in slog builds that I've had or that I've seen. So I hope that you agree with me that this was a worthwhile endeavor. I do have several provisioners walking in and out of here on a regular basis. So in most of my builds, most of my playthroughs, the slog actually becomes somewhat of a hub of trade, and frequently I do not build in the pool itself. I leave the pool building as is and end up building little houses around the pool itself, individual houses for people, and I end up making the farmland on the other side of the pool very much smaller, so I can have a farmhouse over there, and then I'll have 2 or 3 small houses on this side of the pool. But in this case, I wanted to go with that somewhat upgraded version of their place as it is here. They already have a building We're in an industrial area, so concrete and steel were probably relatively highly available. And obviously, we're stretching the boundaries of what scavenging can do by saying we scavenged a fusion generator, but with all of the available resources in the area, especially with the uh, Saugus Iron Works right there, I felt like they would take it on themselves to scavenge up the parts, the concrete, the steel, and perhaps go across the river to the area around the hospital and grab some glass panels. Maybe they took a greenhouse apart to get the glass panels, and there would have been walls instead of a ceiling, but they used it as a ceiling. And each and every one of the residents gets to sleep in a secure location. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to sit down until the end of the workday and let you see that what it looks like at night. It's not overly bright, but it is a excellent location. We're going to make sure that it's after the end of the workday by the time that we're done waiting. Okay, we are back, and as you can see, the lighting on these power pylons is very low. It's very dimly lit, less light than the lantern on the end of the table.
You helped us out, and we won't forget that.
Oh, thank you very much. I try to be helpful. And you see some of the workers still sit out here around the pool. The lighting around the water purifier is not too bright, less brightness than this construction light, which is facing the back of the water purifier. And if you look here, there's some mechanical equipment on the purifier. Maybe the light's justified in that it gives them something to see by if they have to do some maintenance. But now as we go towards the building, you'll see that the lighting of the building itself is very understated. The yellowish floor lights that I used in the rooms upstairs really do give a subdued light that does not come across as harsh and bright. The brightest lighting in the place is the lighting over the bar itself. I did use a couple of little track lights to highlight up here, like the clinic's drug sign. I wanted to make sure that that looked bright even when it's in shadow, and that worked out pretty well. What you may be able to tell from looking at this is the existing light was left in place, and I slotted the same light fixture from the build menu directly into the existing light. That way it would look more like we repaired what was there and less like it had been replaced. Lining them up was relatively straightforward. I mean, they are almost the same size, and sliding them in, you have the guidelines of the existing light fixtures. Hanging cables, just like the hanging cables on the fixture that you're putting in. And although you get plenty of light from them,
Thanks again for your help.
oh, you're more than welcome, wise man. More than welcome. You see a couple of little seating areas for everybody who wants to enjoy a drink, It's all subdued. We still use a lot more candles than electric lights in here. Um, the main purpose of using a fusion generator to power the place is not lights, of course, but we intend on using laser turrets when we can scavenge the parts for them. I do have Arlen working hard at finding those parts. Now, in here, you'll see that the existing fixture that was here is gone. And I just put the fluorescent fixture from the menu in place. That was a mistake. I got overzealous in scrapping some items and realized it after the fact. But as we go upstairs, you'll see the subdued lighting
The slog might not look like
motif
much.
is continued. Although that corner is fairly bright because of the bar downstairs. The bedroom is very subdued, very much less bright than even the small outside area over there at the Saugus Ironworks up on the roof. It's brighter than it is over here. And as we come across this side, even with it being very bright downstairs, this room up here is comfortably dim, so sleeping is not an issue. Now naturally, anybody who's worked security or been in the military knows the less bright lights around a guard, the better. So these guard posts are unlit. There's one of the provisioners coming on in from what I have to assume is Coastal Cottage or Outpost Zimonja. Outpost Zima, as I call it. They'll make their way right through the compound on that side and back out through the gate without having to route the cow up through the existing buildings. So naturally, this cow is going to go stomp around in the farm. Sometimes I have to wonder about the AI pathing. The way that I placed the second floor in place was pretty much the same way I did the glass roof. I placed the wooden floor on top of the existing floor ceiling tiles, which you can delete. So I made an entire floor above on the roof of the place, and then from underneath took out the roof tiles that I didn't want. Once again, these walls, this concrete wall and these outer concrete walls, when you're using the workshop mode, they are practically non-existent. You can't put anything on top of them. But because the skylight was already in the center here, and this skylight was much brighter than the one that was here originally, I feel like this has got the feeling it originally called for. Just that expanded aspect. And Holly's just standing in the hallway. We did have a raider attack earlier, just before this video started. So it's, for some reason, I've noticed that the AI has some serious pathing issues when we have raider attacks. It does appear that it's late enough that they want to go to bed, so what I'm going to try doing is I'm going to go out here and sit down and wait just a couple hours and see if they'll path themselves up into their beds. Obviously the wait time will be long before dawn. Sometimes they don't do what you expect them to do, sometimes they do exactly what you expect them to do. Let's see if the AI pathed them into their bunks. Should have done so. Yes. See, they pathed themselves into their rooms, and I did not build most of those beds that they're sleeping in. I built these two beds on the outside of the room, but the beds that were here were primarily set up for the residents to sleep in. My thinking with it was that the residents are already assigned to their bunks, so I moved those bunks up into these rooms. And as I said, the slog itself, because of provisioners and guards, needed to have a lot more beds than people who will ever actually sleep in them. But that's the way it works sometimes. And just as a amusing aspect, I like to put a sleepable hospital gurney in the clinic. In this case, it's only the one that is usable as a bed. The other two are not. And frequently, unassigned settlers will just sleep on the gurney. You'll frequently find this sleeping bag has somebody sleeping on it. And every once in a rare while, one of the residents will come out to the guard's break room and go sleep out here instead of in one of the beds upstairs. And as you can see, somebody is actually doing, our doctor decided to sleep out here. Again, AI pathing. You'd almost expect the doctor to sleep on the gurney. But it looks like somebody's standing on the roof. I'm not even going to try and guess why that happens. And I don't know if this is common to everybody's game, but Arlen never leaves this room unless there's an attack. I don't know why he's in there. I finished the Giddy Up Buttercup side quest with him. Got him the parts he asked for. But he will not leave that room for any reason that I'm aware of, other than an attack. And even then, because of the way my defenses are set up, most attacks are over before he actually makes it out the door. I'm not even sure who that is up there, but more power to him. The AI puts people in odd spots. Well, that's my little corner of the Commonwealth. The Slog set up to trade vegetables for other goods and caps with the rest of the Commonwealth. A secure location, safe for the people who want to come here, and safe for the people who live here. Well, it's coming up on dawn here in the Commonwealth. Everything's quiet, just the way we like it. Stay safe out there.